Okay, just to cut that pink some, I went over this, and this with raw sienna. So we put that on our. Don't be a slave to your paintings. If you see something that needs to change, just go ahead and do it. I may do this entire wall. Let's see what that looks like, just to give it some vibrancy. That's with a mixture of the raw sienna and our wall color. We don't want to do it too strongly, so I'm just going to kind of knock it in places here and there. Put some more of that texture in there. Marry it up to that wall. And see, that's a lot better just doing that. So you have to kind of paint on the fly a lot of times and decide what will help your painting. And I've got to suggest this. This is a stairwell going downstairs, so I've got to suggest somehow that's a little darker in there. So let's fade that out a little bit. Once I get this off, I'll there. That looks like a floor. This is a number 2. And let's clean up our palette a little bit. With some room to work. Artemis by Da Vinci. It's one of my new favorite darks. And I'm going to go in, and since now that this is dry, but that Artemis is kind of like a gray, purpley gray color. It's nice for old detail. So I'm going to put this detail in, and then I'm going to soften it. So we have a little part around here. This is here. This has little thingies going up there. You don't want to over detail this, but you do want to try to get some kind of detail in here, just so it looks nice and connects. And of course, we do still have the masking fluid on here, so once we take that off, this will show up much better. Right. Okay, I think we'll try to make this a little fancier here. And we'll curl this up a little bit. And I think that might come down a little further here and back to here, like that. There we go. All right, that's our lantern. Over here, we have a bell. I'll just give that some kind of emphasis. Of course, the bell is covered with masking fluid, so when I take that off, you'll see that. We'll go back over that. The shell, beautiful design. And we'll just kind of make up something that looks interesting in here. That is the bottom of that. This is actually the bottom of the lantern. So let's color that in. Okay. This is our shell. It actually comes up like this and over like this. Another very dark under here. So we don't want it to be highly detailed, but just give it some interest. That. Next thing we want to do is to just get in some of these lines, suggest the darkness. But again, we need to soften all of that. Over here, the same thing. Under here. We'll soften this all in a minute. Also have some detail in here. There's a very dark edge under here. I need to clean this edge up a little bit here. Over here. And there's a very dark area under here. Very dark ledge under here. There's also a dark area under here. If we wanted to suggest some of these lines, we could. But we don't want much of that. We want it very loose. Just adding detail where we need it. Let's do this iron railing up here. goes down the stairs. Just suggesting some kind of a rail here. Not too specific on that. There should be a shadow underneath this edge of this window. That. Don't want to overdo this. So I think that's probably enough for now. I think I might go ahead and do a tile on this floor so we know it's tile, but I'm going to draw that in. So let's do that. Go to our focal center point. Okay, that, a little bit like that, slightly like that, and slightly like that. Now that makes much better sense. Okay, we're not going to play that up too much. I just wanted that in there. Just for suggestion. So I'm just going to take some of that dark and some of that red and just do those grout lines a little bit wider here. Just the tiniest suggestions of floor tiles. That's all we need, just like that. And if you don't want to do that part, that's fine. That's just to suggest that there's a floor there. Okay, I'm happy with that. Don't know if I need to do some darks on this right here. Under here. Get this darker here. So that shows up a little darker. So that needs to be this shape. That. That's better. I need to scruffly this up a little bit. Do it that way, just with water. Make it look old, scruffly. Less particular. All right. Real happy with that. I think we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to take off the masking fluid. And I may make that a little pinker. There. All blending continuously. And it knocks back those lines too. This is not the right brush for that. Let's pick up a bigger brush. Get that edge right there. Okay, now that makes better sense. It's one continuous paving all the way inside. Continuity is very important in your painting, so it's very important to keep that in mind. Scruffle up that wall a little bit. Okay, I think we're ready to take off the masking fluid.